is down, left is right, bad is good, confusion. And God is not the author of confusion.
God wants to bless America, but it starts with his people first repenting and the ending of sin.
We have been in ministry the last 20 years. It was in prayer that the Lord began to convict me to run for office. And so I'm excited about Dr. Sherwood stepping up to the plate.
This is a man after God's own heart who will not compromise with the devil.
He's bold, he's courageous.
I'm Nick Vujicic.
Warren Hamilton.
I'm Jake Merrick,
And I endorse
enthusiastically
Dr. Mark Sherwood
as governor of Oklahoma.
The ending of slavery happened with total abolishing of it. We must see this as well for abortion. It's America's Holocaust.
We still have abortions in Oklahoma. How can you be pro-life and have one abortion? Why not stop it right now? And I make a commitment right now that I'm going to do everything I can to completely abolish abortion in the state of Oklahoma within the first 30 days of office.
vaccine mandates that are being rolled out right now are entirely unconstitutional and unbiblical. Every state that's a member of these United States, that's a member of our union, said we'll abide by the Constitution. That's why we don't tinker with it too much.
So I believe the word mandate doesn't equate to law. I am a big believer in the 10th Amendment, and that means state sovereignty. I would propose that every single business owner in Oklahoma that's affected by that ridiculous mandate push back and say no, because they don't own you. The federal government does not own you. We need to own that amendment, understand what it is, and not be afraid to push back.
We have to understand where critical race theory came from. Obviously, it comes from the Marxist handbook. And if we preach this and promote this, we end up a Marxist nation. It is not social justice. It is not anti-racism. It's actually racism in its purest form. The very thing Martin Luther King Jr. talked about, we're not going to allow this to be taught where we judge by the color of our skin.
There's one race. It's called the human race. I'm not going to apologize for being white. I'm not even white. I don't even know what I am. Kids in school need to be taught how to live life. Right now, we're teaching them theories about how to hate. That's not education, that's brainwashing. We will not do that under my administration. We will fine every school that does that, and if they don't like it, they can take their education and find another state that will accept that nonsense. People all need to be healed. Our state needs to be healed, our land needs to be healed, the economy needs to be healed, and our confidence needs to be healed. Our hope needs to be restored. God has gifted us as healers. We know that we're called to not just heal people individually like we do, but we know now we're called to heal a group of people called the state of Oklahoma. My name is Mark Sherwood, and I'm running for governor of the state of Oklahoma.
Welcome, everybody, to the Ecclesia live stream. You are the Resistance.
Oh, my gosh.
You are the Resistance, the only live stream here in the state of Oklahoma where you get to interact with us. We'll put your comments on. What other one is there?
I don't know. I know there's
exactly. We're the only live stream in the state of Oklahoma that you get to comment live while we're talking, ask questions, ridicule us, tell us how funny we look or good looking, whichever you'd like to do. But it's good to be with you guys again.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys going to talk as well?
We are.
You got it.
You hit this intro, brother. You on it.
Oh, man. It's good to see you guys. So we just got back from Phoenix, which you guys sent us to, with the Clay Clark Conference. We were there talking to magistrates, meeting with people that were there, and we had some good news come up. Daniel, you're going to share with us a little bit about that news?
Absolutely. We had a lot of great feedback. Got to talk to a lot of people. But one of the interactions that took place, Carlson, come in here. One of the great things that took place is we got to meet with a man and his wife from Alaska who were asked to run as lieutenant governor of the state of Alaska by a man who's running for governor, who is a senator, who is also the author of an abolitionist bill that went forth last year. So you were about to have two heavy hitters, abolitionists running for governor and lieutenant governor in the state of Alaska this next year, and we're excited we get to help them with that campaign.
Well, what was really cool though is they came and talked to. They were talking to me and Leah at the Abortion Free States table, and then right next to us was Mark Sherwood's Functional Medical Institute table. So they were over there talking, and Jacob, the guy that runs his booth, was like, "Yeah, he's also running for governor of Oklahoma." And these people were like, "Oh my gosh, Oklahoma's amazing. They were like, there's this pastor in Oklahoma who is like taking over the GOP and like completely changing the political landscape and like getting Christians involved. And they were like, we show his videos to like our churches and like grassroots organizations in Alaska, and he's like our blueprint for what we want to do in Alaska. And I was listening to this conversation. I was like, excuse me, what's his name? And they were like, Navariar. And I was like, Nevejas. And they were like, yeah, that's him.
That's my code name.
Navariar.
Navariar is my code name.
It was so cool, though. They were super excited. So they got to meet Daniel, and that was like a really cool connection. But it's just really cool and an encouragement to you guys because of the relationships that we made through the Clay Clark events. The Whiteds interview went out, and that's the one that they had seen all the way in Alaska. And so because of the connections that we're making, states across the nation are being impacted, and people are being impacted, and people are hearing the message, even when we don't know it. And so it was super encouraging for them to be that excited. They were super excited. And their goal is to get Christians in every local office in their region in the next 2 to 5 years. And it was really awesome. It was a really cool connection. So made possible by you guys.
So amen. So I don't know if we are the resistance. I think we're the resistance, but I definitely know we are the remnant of God that is rising up
and resisting the culture of death.
That's right.
Exactly.
Not just in Oklahoma, but across the state. We're super excited.
Wait, you just said not in Oklahoma, but across the state?
No. I'm saying not only. What is the matter? It must be late. Listen, not only across the state of Oklahoma, but across the nation, which leads me next month, first week of the month in February, we are headed to Nashville, Tennessee, national conference there. We're going to be meeting up with other I guess you could say sister organizations that we partner with, OSA, Operation Save America. We're going to be with Jason Storms and the leadership there, doing some ministry, also meeting with magistrates and leadership. And then also while there, get to meet with some great friends, intercessors that are literally walking the nation and praying city to city. Tom Demiri and his team, Pentecost Walk, which is amazing. I'm good, Kyle.
You keep turning it.
Yeah, I'm going to stay right here.
Okay, you good.
I'm going to stay right there. He's like...
You
You're going to get your neck hurt. You just keep twitching over there. So anyhow, we're going to be meeting there and then also moving from there to Canton, Ohio for the Clay Clark events there. So just immense amount of opportunity to share with thousands and thousands of people the message of abolition, what we're doing as Ecclesia Oklahoma, and spreading that into other states. So it's very, very exciting.
Yes.
You also, I don't know if you have the graphic for it, but you've been working diligently on the Ecclesia Nation app.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Which we're super excited about. That's being created right now. And not just a blueprint for the state of Oklahoma, but literally a blueprint that's going to be copy and pasted throughout the nation. We're excited to partner with Pastor Jackson Lawmeyer. Really is going to be hosting a hub for this. Every Sunday night in Tulsa, we're going to be having a gathering, basically a town hall, Oklahoma town hall, bringing people in, telling them how do you get involved in the grassroots, how do you get involved in the very different areas. So we're going to be training, resource, and equipping. You guys are sending us. You guys are allowing us to do that. I think Kyle's bringing it up right here. But Ecclesia Nation is going to have an app. You'll be able to go to your county, break down to your precincts. You'll be able to know, if I go to a city council meeting, what do I do? If I go to a school board meeting, what do I do? So tons of resources there, but also there'll be chat opportunities so you can chat and talk with other people that are in your county for coalition building.
Right, absolutely. Guys, we have an incredible show coming up today. We're going to go through a lot of stuff quickly just because there's a lot of information coming out there. And one of those things we want to visit a little bit back in time to kind of get you guys caught up to speed. Back in July, you guys know, in the midst, in the height of COVID, seems like we're kind of phasing out of the COVID scare. And I'll show some videos to kind of show that. But in the midst of it, you would think Oklahoma having conservative Christian congressmen across the board, that they would be the ones to defend our liberties, stand up for us, and actually stand in the way of people trying to put mandates, lockdowns, things like that. But our most conservative congressman, Frank Lucas, I'm going to show a little bit about what he did in June, Daniel. So talk a little about that, why I pulled that up.
Talk about what?
What Frank Lucas did.
I don't know. You're going to pull it up.
I know. I'm saying, my goodness.
Guys, when he pulls that up, what I do want you to do is if you're watching, let us know where you're watching from live today. Please, if you're on the Rumble, hit the Rumble button and give us some rumbles there. Share. Let us get this word out today. And Kyle's going to bring this up. I don't know that I've read this article that you're going to talk about.
Yeah, so this is an article straight from Congressman Frank Lucas back in July. It talks about during the summer, we were warned by public health officials about the dangers winter would bring with infections and hospitalizations rising and a vaccine not likely being widely available until next year. Oklahoma must act quickly with the resources we have available. Wearing a mask and limiting crowd capacity will be a little bit inconvenience for many of us, but could have life-saving results for our neighbors. While many who have become affected with the coronavirus will survive, we must have compassion for Oklahoma's elderly and infirm. Over time, with a vaccine, COVID-19 will become a manageable risk. We'll once again be able to celebrate all of life's milestones and occasions with our family and friends. One day, we'll be able to celebrate life's milestones, but until now, stay home and just listen to the government. So let me play with you video that goes with it that's even more disturbing. Let me see if I got it right here. Yes.
I'm Congressman Frank Lucas, and I represent the 3rd Congressional District of Oklahoma. Oklahoma's 3rd District stretches as far as the eye can see, from Boise City in the Oklahoma Panhandle to the suburbs of Tulsa, to the banks of the Red River in southwest Oklahoma. I'm here today to encourage every Oklahoman to get their COVID-19 vaccine. 2020 was a year like no other. Our children's schools switched to virtual learning. Some of our small businesses closed their doors for a short time. Our communities adopted temporary public health measures. Even colleges limited fans in their stadiums. A couple of months ago, I told a local radio reporter, Oklahomans could see the light at the end of the tunnel thanks to the COVID-19 vaccine.
Thanks to the COVID-19 vaccine.
Whether it's the J&J vaccine,
whether the J&J
vaccine, or the Pfizer vaccine.
Or the Pfizer vaccine.
COVID-19 vaccine is safe, effective, and it'll help us get back to normal.
It is safe
I
and
highly
effective.
encourage all Oklahomans,
You hear that, guys?
listen to
Don't
the
you feel
advice of
better
your
now?
family doctor and get your vaccine. I got the vaccine.
You got the vaccine.
My family's gotten the vaccine, and more than 40% of Oklahomans have received at least one dose of the vaccine. Getting the vaccine isn't just about you. It's about your family, your neighbors, your community. As a father, a grandfather, and a cattleman, I trust my family doctor and veterinarian to keep me, my family, and my livelihood safe and healthy. Don't have a virus that can be prevented. More than 590,000 Americans didn't have the chance to get vaccinated. But you can. Help Oklahoma continue its path to normalcy. And get your COVID vaccine today.
Get your COVID vaccine today. Okay, so to go to actual scientists, here's Dr. Malone.
Wait, he wasn't a scientist?
vaccines that we have as safe for the way in which they're being used at the moment?
Very well worded, the way you put that. I do not regard them as safe, particularly in children. The risk-benefit ratio is completely upside down. More children will die from these vaccines than will be saved. The data are quite clear.
Frank Lucas.
I have long held two key positions. The vaccine should be reserved for those at highest risk of this disease. I have not said they shouldn't be used. I've said that they should be reserved.
Listen to
We
this,
should
though.
not have universal vaccination. We should absolutely not have vaccine mandates. That is, in my opinion, illegal and grossly immoral. You know, based on the Nuremberg Code, the Common Rule, the Helsinki Accord, everything else.
Wait till the end, though.
We do not have adequate disclosure. And unfortunately, as the data have emerged increasingly, I'm increasingly forced into a position where I'm not sure if they even have a merit for those at highest risk.
Wow.
Particularly given that we have therapeutic drug strategies that work, that keep people out of the hospital. And then as if that wasn't enough, the data with Omicron is creating an even greater imbalance between risk and benefit. I think that it's likely in the next few weeks, I'm going to have to shift my position and say that I don't see how the risk-benefit ratio for these mRNA vaccines or adenovirus genetic vaccines make any sense for anybody.
What?
You know what?
And our congressmen are assuming the responsibility of a scientist telling us and encouraging Oklahoma what we should or should not put in our bodies.
Don't we trust politicians? Isn't that the
they're
the general
scientists.
Guys,
They
Frank has been
know.
such an
They have?
amazing congressman. I don't think it's okay for you guys to criticize him.
You don't think it's okay to criticize Frank? You like him that much?
No. It'd be
Man,
really great if someone ran against them.
I was just thinking
You
that.
know what? Before we go to somebody running against him, which I think is great and everything, here's the deal, guys. Let me show you.
How
right
many guys
this.
think Kyle needs a T-shirt that says "Here's the deal"?
A T-shirt.
If
that
I
says
get
that.
enough
has a little
votes,
pickle
I
on
am
the front.
going to have
Here's
a
the deal.
T-shirt made for Kyle that says "Here's the deal."
We're gonna sell
Okay.
Kyle hats that says has just a pickle on it.
Okay, so let me pull this up for you guys.
No,
This
keep
is a
coming
quote
for
from an
Jesus.
article. Action is being taken to beginning to ramp up across the state as well. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt announced recently that all state employees and visitors safe facilities are required to wear a mask, because we all know that works. And Oklahoma
No,
Congressman.
that was a long time ago.
Yes, this was a long time ago. This is in July. And Frank Lucas dialed in support for statewide mask mandate. Statewide.
Yep.
Every citizen.
Yep.
Everywhere. Wearing mask. And they had how much science to even say that would be effective? They still don't.
No, it's
No,
actually
definitely
dangerous.
not.
Actually, the CDC just came out and said that masks aren't really that effective. Isn't that insane? I wonder
Who's
why.
surprised? Well, I mean, there's stuff from Fauci saying that years ago, but then they flip-flop their position. But as far as Frank Lucas is concerned, I mean, you don't trust him more than you do your scientists? I don't. I think somebody should run and replace him.
I trust the dog catcher more than I trust Frank Lucas.
You trust the dog catcher.
And I don't even think we got a dog catcher.
I don't know who the dog catcher is, but we talk about him an
We
awful
trust
lot.
him.
We sure do.
What's happening here?
You tell me what's
Oh,
happening.
Kyle's pulling something up.
Oh my gosh.
Here it comes.
There we go. How about we take back
There
America?
we go. Yes,
Uh-oh.
sir.
I got some writing underneath it. What's it say there?
Sean Roberts, as a Republican and 11-year member of the state legislature, Roberts has been a conservative disruptor. 2016, he was a staunch Trump supporter and delegate. He plans to advance on America First agenda and deliver an American First video over the swamp. This is Sean Roberts for U.S. Congress.
Amazing. He's running against Frank Lucas.
Yes, sir.
Running to challenge and replace old Frank Lucas. I almost said Commie Frank, but that seems a little harsh.
No, he's a communist.
Commie
Okay.
Frank. I don't know if he's a straight communist, but he's definitely a socialist.
Whenever
That's
he
some-
calls...
Okay.
Okay, wait a minute.
Socialist Frank.
Socialist Frank.
Just doesn't roll
Socialist
off the tongue
communist
like
You need,
Commie
you need to
Frank
be, you need
does.
correct and exact with your language.
Okay, what do you mean?
He is a socialist. He approves of government-instituted health care, things like that. Now, that is akin to communism.
Well, and
but
what
he's
does
not calling for the
socialism,
direct. Well, I
what does
guess
socialism
it's pretty close.
lead to?
True that.
Of course, it leads to communism.
Communism.
I'm just
Okay,
saying.
so I was right.
What's worse, though? Neither. They're both bad.
Right, so they're equivalent. So
I
I
don't
can
know
call
why
him
you're
Commie
arguing.
Frank if I want.
Commie, you call him a Marxist. You just grab the microphone like Elvis.
Yeah, I was just bringing it close to my I make sure people can hear me and notice when I'm turning back
Oh
away.
my
So,
gosh.
all
So anyhow,
righty.
so guys, that's an amazing, another amazing announcement here in Oklahoma. Sean
Yeah.
Roberts, Representative Sean Roberts, which
Yep.
I actually had a great conversation with him before this, talking about his abortion bill. And so reaching out, finding out how do we advance this, how do we move towards this. So super excited to work with him and talk with him moving forward. But it's an exciting thing that he's going to be running for Congress to replace Frank Lucas. So if
Yeah.
you guys are tired of Frank and you know who Sean Roberts is, you want to support him, he can definitely use your support.
Right. This is the season of supporting patriots across the state, and there's not a lot of them.
It's true.
There's not a lot of them.
There's a lot of communists.
There's a lot of communist
What is that?
Or socialist.
or socialist.
I think there are a lot of
Marxist.
patriots, though. I think we're seeing people wake up more and more. I mean, it's exciting to see how many people are running for office and jumping in. And even Sean Roberts, we have a good relationship with Sean Roberts, and we have a lot of respect for him and a lot of mutual conversation. So it's really exciting, I think, to see things shifting in the political sphere and just continuing to shift. Because whenever this started, it's like, how long is this going to last? And things just keep getting better, honestly. Like, I mean, things get worse, but they also get better, and that's encouraging. So,
Absolutely. Kyle, what's next on the agenda?
Well, we have a lot of stuff. I want to hear from you guys what you think about what's happening with Frank Lucas and what's happening in our current representation for congressman. Because the question comes in, and I've been having this conversation with people, is, well, if all of them are bad, which one's good, and which one of them is good?
Yeah.
And that's why at the beginning of the time I actually had attention by saying you are the resistance, because in Oklahoma there needs to be a resistance. And if you're listening to this live stream, more than likely you are that resistance of people standing up and setting a different standard for what's been in our state. Because right now the answer when you say, man, things are really bad, it's like, no, things are great. I can go to work. I can get...
Right.
And for half the population, that might be true. But they probably had to submit to a vaccine mandate. They might have to submit to a mask mandate. So to peel that layer of blindness that's come over us by living in comfort for so long, there has to be a standard of resistance. Jesus said this. Jesus said, I did not come to bring peace, but I came to bring what?
A sword, division.
A government-issued sword.
A government-issued, government-issued sword, right? No, he came to bring a sword to separate what? What does he say right after that? Mother and father?
Yeah.
Family members. And what is he saying there? Jesus isn't saying that he just came to separate people. He's actually saying the truth that I'm bringing is so controversial sometimes. Divisive that literally it'll separate families. It'll separate lives of people. And he is the Prince of Peace. So how can the Prince of Peace not be coming to bring peace? Because what you're living in isn't peace, but you call it peace.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been doing in the state of Oklahoma for how long in these elections and these things. We have leaders who call themselves, everything's fine, we're great. I talked to one representative, and he said, Kyle, what score would you give the Oklahoma legislator right now? And I was like, a D, if not an F.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I would have given us an A or B. I said, well, it's because of what is your standard? Is your standard having the highest tax rate we've ever had in the state of Oklahoma? You still have abortion on demand, instituting mask mandates and vaccine mandates across the private businesses are actually violating First Amendment rights that people have.
How do you get an A out of that?
In the government that's not doing anything about anything is trying to protect businesses now so they can institute the communism. I mean, hallelujah. So we got a few comments. Sorry, that was a rant of mine. So
no, that's good. I actually want to add to your rant just a little bit because there's this weird random song that's by a Christian artist named Josh Garrels, but there's a line in it. It's called The Resistance, actually, and it is super good, but there's a line in it that says, how do good men become a part of a diabolical scheme? They don't believe in resistance. And it's like one of the most powerful songs I've heard in a while because it's like you don't believe in resisting things, and so you just get pulled into this system of corruption or whatever because you weren't resisting back when it wasn't as big of a deal. So I think resistance is, I like it. I like the resistance.
The resistance. And it's, we have to resist because who else is going to? Yep. Who else is going to change things? Go ahead, Daniel. You look like you had something you want to say. Nope. You're done? You're blank?
I'm listening.
You're silent?
I'm listening.
That is crazy.
I'm listening.
I've never heard you be that silent before in a live stream. You're just oozing with revelation.
No, I'm just controlling myself. It's called self-control.
Okay, we got a few comments on here I'm going to throw on here. Commie is Flack Attacks, denier of God, maybe more accurate to call them Satanists.
I agree. I agree. Don't even sugarcoat it. No icing. Communists, Satanists, Luciferians.
Now, here's the deal.
What?
What's the deal?
Tell me he's a Christian.
Deal,
Please tell me he's a God-fearing Christian.
No,
let's hear it.
Riley, I love the comment, by the way. I think
you know the truth and I know the truth.
No, I do love the comment.
You'd be on this side, you'd be on that side.
No,
Lukewarm,
I think
spit you out, vomit territory.
You need to break it.
You wanted revelation, here it comes. You're either hot or you're cold.
Yeah.
If you're lukewarm, I'm going to vomit you out of my mouth. Don't say you love me and then turn around and mandate your brother to take a vaccine against his will that's made with aborted fetal babies. I'm going to just say right now, hot or cold, Satanist, I agree with you.
No, it's true.
What was his name, Flacky?
That's Riley Flack.
Oh, is that what did you say, Flacky?
Flack Attacks. That's what.
I was like, okay, Flack Attack. I agree. Okay, you got another one.
Yeah. So this is from Joshua Tapp. But Frank Lucas gets the farm bill passed.
Okay, so you got your cow can run free in a field, but you're going to die of the COVID vaccine. Okay.
That's awesome.
Okay, so who is that?
That is Flack Attack saying, yeah, boy. He's saying that. So that's awesome.
No, I want to know who was talking about the cows being
No, that
free.
was Joshua Tapp, the Tapp family up in
Joshua. Are you kidding me?
It's some satire and some sarcasm in there.
Oh, I know.
That's
Love
awesome.
you, Josh.
Yeah, so the conversation is good, though, because this is something I think we're going to be talking about a lot at the January 26th meeting coming up. Yeah. And that's why we're bringing different speakers across the state. The interesting... We're bringing a lot of voices from the nation. And why is it important to come to these events, to hear from people? Because right now, it's easy to be lulled asleep by the same old political rhetoric, that people that want to keep things peaceful and peaceful all the time, and they don't exact change. But what happens if you raise your standard to say things aren't the way they need to be?
Yep.
You'll be dissatisfied, and then it'll lead to change. It'll lead to change. And that's what we need in the state of Oklahoma. So we're having Mark Sherwood. Who else are we having up there, Daniel?
We've got a lot of people. So we just announced today that Street Fighter Patriot Scott McKay is going to be with us this weekend.
Who's that guy?
So that's very exciting. A lot of people are super excited about that. You've got Mel K. Frank Urbanik running for mayor in Oklahoma City. Kelly be with us. David and Stacey Whited and Vandersteel. I don't know who the guy in blue is.
My picture is still not on this flyer.
I'm just saying, I did not make these graphics. That's Leah. Whatever y'all got going on with each other, that's your own thing. You got Pastor Paul Blair is going to be with us. James Taylor, Dan Fisher, Dave Scarlett, Amanda Grace, John Bennett. Super excited to have, the way Clay Clark would say, John Bennett in the house. We've got Ilinda Jackson also going to be with us. Senator Warren Hamilton, Dr. Mark Sherwood, who's running for governor, Senator Jake Merrick, and Jackson Lawmeyer. So amazing lineup. Also, it's super amazing, Kyle. You pull up this graphic. So the doors are going to open at 11:30, and 11:30 to 1. 11:30 to 1, we're going to be doing worship and prayer. So this is who we are. This is the DNA of who we are. Just getting into the presence of God, asking God for mercy, asking God to intervene in our nation. So Marty from Loudmouth Prayer is going to be helping us and joining us with us. Senator Merrick is also going to be helping us during that time. Got an amazing worship team that's going to come. It's going to just be a powerful time. So before we ever even get into the start, before we even sing the national anthem or do a pledge, we're going to sing our national anthem. We're going to worship the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. We are going to just magnify him, and we're just going to honor him. So, guys, we just encourage you. The doors are going to be open 11:30. And for 11:30 to 1, you can join us in prayer. Then we'll get started at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, and just remember, as wherever you're coming from the body of Christ, to honor your other giftings in the body of Christ, because some don't worship the same way that you do. So,
No way.
I know. Ecclesia of Oklahoma is a diverse group of believers. So we've got charismatic. Diverse. Did I say device?
You said device.
Diverse group of believers. Sorry. Diverse group of believers from across the state. So we have Baptists, we have Presbyterians, we have Pentecostals.
Watch out for those guys.
We're crazy Pentecostals. We have all sorts of people coming to worship. So when they do come to worship, if they don't worship the same way you do, the ecclesia isn't here to teach you specific church doctrine about eschatology.
Bummer.
Or pneumology, what you should believe directly about the Holy Spirit, or if you're an Arminian, Calvinist. We're not here to do that.
Yeah, that's your local church.
Yep.
But what we do want to do is we want to gather together. We want to worship. We want to pray.
Yeah.
And if someone worships with their hands in their pocket, don't get offended because they're not worshiping you. And if someone else worships with their hands in the air, don't get offended because they're not raising their hands for you. So those that are putting their hands in their pocket are putting their hands in their pocket for Jesus. Those that have their hands in the air, putting their hands in the air for Jesus.
Just treat it like a family reunion where
Yep.
you just come and you get along with all your crazy uncles and cousins and aunts.
Yeah.
And you
And
tolerate them because you love
one
them.
of your crazy aunts are going to be there.
Yeah.
And you don't have to like them.
No, but you love them.
But you got to love them.
It's a big sanctuary, so you can even social distance yourself. You better not wear a mask, though. So let me just say this. Jack West said regarding Frank, he said he seems a little confused or he has a split personality. I'd agree with that. I also think it might be depending on which lobbyist is pulling on him that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. And that's the thing is, if you continually can't tell somebody can't see what principles they are, it's pretty easy to see somebody else determines that. Somebody else is the determining factor for what they believe or what they don't believe. One of the things that's I heard, I talked to a friend that went to a local GOP meeting and had some representatives and senators show up, and he named them, and I was like, that's not going to be fun, because usually when politicians talk, it's a dog and pony show. That means they come up and say, hey guys, here's who I am. Here's what I believe about this great state, and here's what I'm doing to protect your rights. And usually if you have your representative telling you what he's doing to protect your rights and trying to convince you what he's doing to protect your rights, that means he's probably not doing that very thing, because he's having to defend a position continually because in his side he's actually defensive about it. So if you're actually defending liberty, people know.
Yeah.
And most people that are crony capitalists aren't going to want to talk to you anyways. So
Crony capitalist.
Crony.
Explain that for people that may be listening that do not know.
Know what a crony capitalist? Crony capitalism essentially means government paid for capitalism. So right now, capitalist Capitalism is the free purchase and transfer of goods, the ability to work on your own labor or work and earn from your own labor. Crony capitalism is setting up a government system that you can lobby and have government leverage their money to help you and your business, but not other people. Right. Crony capitalism. So that's what's happening right now when you have businesses start to increase taxes, taking money from everybody across the nation or the state, taking it from everybody, and then giving it in programs as subsidies to a select few in that district or a society or a sphere to in the name of boosting the economy. But it's not moral, because if I take money from everybody but give it to a few,
you're boosting a few, and not
you're boosting
everybody.
a few. It's not fair. It's not fair government. So that's what you call a crony capitalist. So that's why right now our state senator in our area, Chuck Hall, who's in Logan County, I can't remember what Senate district is that. It's not 7. Warren is 7, right?
No,
Yeah, I don't know what Senate district is, but Senator Chuck Hall lives in a conservative part of the state, Kingfisher, Logan County, in some of a few other counties up north. His big bill that he authored last year was the Hollywood rebate bill. And Governor Stitt did a whole video about how he passed the Hollywood rebate bill. Now, here's the interesting thing. Who would pass a Hollywood rebate bill? Do you think it'd be a farmer? Do you think it'd be a lawyer? Who do you think it would be? Maybe a banker?
Ooh.
That's exactly
Maybe
what
a
happened.
banker that's got a bank in the county that does the most movies in the state.
No way.
They would never do that.
And he's over the committee that deals with finances and a budget, the budget committee.
Oh, that's
the
convenient.
vice chair.
You're
That
gonna
guy
put
authoring bills to
You're
give
gonna
money
put
to a
the
sector of
rat
society.
in the cheese factory.
I tell you what.
A rat in the cheese
Rat
factory.
in the cheese factory.
You know what's gonna happen to all the cheese?
What?
It's gonna be gone.
It's
It's gonna
exactly
be this
what
little fat rat
it
in the
is.
corner.
So here's
looking
what I
like-
think.
What's that dude's name? Templeton off of Charlotte's Web.
Templeton.
Charlotte. A circus.
That's.
If we get to pass legislation that gives me more money, okay, I think I'll
The
go.
only thing I'm happy about that is you said that away from the mic way back here. So,
Well, listen. Never mind.
Our great. Here's the deal,
I'm gonna
guys.
make a
In
meme.
conservative.
Who all thinks we should make a meme
With
of the
Chuck
rat
Hall
in
with
the cheese
You need
factory?
to quit taking
His
these.
face on Templeton's face.
I'm in support of this poll.
He says, "A fair is a fair. It is a smorgasbord." He's like, "The Senate is a place where I can rob everybody." Yeah, that guy's got to go.
Absolutely. This is an incoming message from Flak Attacks. The story is 41% of Ds would vote R on medical freedom. This is the issue national and state GOP and reps better get on board or get out of the way.
Come on.
Man,
That is right. And who is leading the charge for medical freedom?
Is Flack running against somebody? That's what I want to know. Chuck Hall. Chucky is in your district.
I don't think.
Chuck
he's
E.
not.
Cheese.
He might not be.
Chuck E. Cheese. That's what I'm going to call him.
Why would you call him Chuck E. Cheese?
Because he's
the
like the rat in the cheese factory.
Oh my
Are you not paying
goodness.
attention to this revelation I've given you? Flack going against Chuck E. Cheese.
I don't think Flack's in. Anyways, we don't tell everybody where Riley Flack lives because they'll send the haters over there. So
Oh,
I bet he can take him.
I would vote for him.
it's true. I would vote for him as well. But Riley, if you're hearing this, you're being summoned.
Hear the sound.
Yep.
My brothers and sisters in Christ, to run for some office. Not dog catcher. Frank Lucas needs to be the dog catcher.
He don't even be the dog catcher.
That's
I don't
true.
want him
I'm praying
catching
for
my
those dogs.
dogs.
He'll be trying to mask those dogs.
He'll be like trying to pass legislation. Make sure your dog's vaccinated. Don't want your Chihuahua getting.
Hey, they can spread
Omicron.
COVID too. They can spread it.
Super spreaders.
Super spreaders.
That's where it came from. Chihuahuas are half bats,
It's true. What?
and they're cousins to those Wuhan China bats.
Why are we talking about chihuahuas?
I don't know why we're talking about chihuahuas,
How
but
did we get there?
It's a fun word, Chihuahua.
Oh my
Say it 3
gosh.
times. Chihuahua, Chihuahua, Chihuahua. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to turn to some videos across the nation right now, and one is because we've been hearing this tale about COVID deaths being so big and how bad this is. This is a video from the UK talking about the actual numbers from COVID deaths. Check this out.
I actually want to tell you about these astonishing figures released by the Office for National Statistics yesterday that the mainstream media certainly aren't trumpeting, but we should all be talking about. To me, they illustrate how the political and media establishment have got it all wrong when it comes to the scare campaign around COVID. So, via a Freedom of Information request, they were asked to provide the numbers of deaths purely from COVID with no other underlying causes. The figures are stark. and I think many of you will be surprised. Just 9,400 poor souls in 2020, with 7,851 of those over the age of 65. In 2021, there were just 7,971 deaths total until the end of Q3, with 5,746 over the age of 65. Now, while the media talks a lot of the 150,000 deaths, perhaps they should have been talking about the number of people who died of COVID, not with COVID. That was just 17,371 up to the end of Q3 2021. Of course, that remains a tragic number of deaths, but it is far more comparable with a normal winter flu season.
There you have it, folks.
Yep.
150,000 people died from COVID in the UK. Actually, just kidding. It was only 17,000.
Jeez.
But y'all better go and get that vaccine.
You better get that vaccine and
Right.
lock down
Get everybody
boosters.
sick.
and lock down the entire economy.
Shut down the schools.
Shut down the schools.
Shut down the business.
Send everybody home. Dr. Malone said it's actually more dangerous for your kid to get the vaccine. Oh, and speaking of that, kids to get the vaccine, if you think this is still just we're playing patty cake with this issue across the United States, like, oh, this is okay, it's a falling away. Well, it is in some ways. In America, it's lessening a little bit. But right now in Australia, I'm going to play a video for you right now because of the threat that if we don't fight back now and push for sanity to be restored back in our government, this is what's coming for us in the culture that we are. This is a TikTok video that was shown in Australia, and this video is from the perspective of a young woman who's dating another young woman.
Wrong to begin with.
Wrong to begin with. But you look at it, it has footage from medical organizations, and it has footage like it was set up from the government, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to influence TikTok.
Like an advertisement.
So the government made this, but made it look like some kid made this on TikTok.
Yep, so check this out.
Wow.
Okay, so now lockdown's over. Should we go out and do something on the weekend?
I mean, the new Spider-Man movie's coming out.
Well, that is true. 10 a.m.
Northland? Great idea. Hey, 2 tickets to see Spider-Man, please.
Sure thing. Can I just see your vaccination certificates first, please?
Of course. Here you go. My parents haven't let me get vaccinated yet.
I mean, you're over 14. You don't actually need to get their permission.
I don't.
Want to go do it now? Go on a back date?
That sounds fun.
Cool, let's go.
Hi, darling. Ready for your vaccine today? Yeah, can I just see your arm?
Well done. See, that wasn't too bad, was it?
No, thank you.
I'm away in the waiting room, and if you have any issues, here you go. Make sure you don't sit next to me.
There you have it, guys. You're 14 years old. You can defy your parents and go get the vaccine.
Why? Because Big Daddy government tells you,
Yeah.
government's daddy now, and the government tells you what you can do and what you cannot do.
Yep. Wow. So there's so many things that you could talk about, from the homosexual agenda to young people to saying, hey, it's cool to be in this homosexual relationship. Hey, and it's cool to obey the government. And hey, it's cool to defy your parents because they don't know what they're talking about. You can defy them at 14 years old. That's when you can do whatever you want. What if a 14-year-old doesn't want to get the vaccine and wants to go to a movie? Can they do that?
Nope.
Can they obey the parents then?
Nope.
No, Australian government, thank you. So if you think that it's a pipe dream to say this is going to come to America, it's not a pipe dream. Very real possibility. And this is another thing that the Australia Open, those guys, the Australia Open kicked out the number one contender because he refused to take the vaccine. The number one person. So as soon as they did that,
Number one what?
Number one ranked tennis player in the world said, hey, you can't come play here. They actually held him in a building for a while, then they deported him from the country.
Quarantine you. And
Good
then
for him
deport you.
for not
Yeah.
giving in.
And so
that's a big deal.
This is the result of when you do that to people. Let me play you a video real quick.
Termination warning is young approach.
Sorry, guys, for the rough video quality, but you see what happened there. She's grabbing her chest, bending over, and you see that all over in the soccer world. This is really affecting people. This is a real thing. Another example of that I'm going to pull up here in just a second. You had a Olympic athlete. This is just sad, depressing stuff, guys. Olympic athlete right here talking and saying, obviously, I'm trying to be as transparent as I obviously can, and now is more important than ever. On December 22nd, I got my booster vaccination because I didn't want to struggle with this when the season started. I was told that if it was safer to get Pfizer, even though I had Moderna the first time, to avoid cardiac effects. On December 27th, I felt tightness in the chest and started feeling dizzy while walking up the stairs. This happened a few more times until I decided to check in a cardiologist who had diagnosed me with pericarditis, inflammation of the thin membrane around the heart. I'm now not allowed to go get my heart rate up, but for a few weeks to allow my heart to rest and heal from the inflammation. I'm still doing everything I can with my coach to keep my muscles moving, and he's doing a great job. Thank you. I have to admit that I'm upset at the situation because we don't talk enough about the side effects. I feel helpless since this is completely out of my control. That is an Olympic athlete that is now discredited from the thing. It's happening everywhere, and it's not stopping. And so that's why we kind of try to make it comical because it gets just too overwhelming sometimes. But the reality of still you get to have public officials say, hey, be cautious. Where's Frank Lucas saying, hey, be cautious? Yeah. Where's Governor Stitt saying, hey, be cautious? Yeah, Governor Stitt actually got the vaccine on camera. It's like, hey, everybody, I'm doing it. You should do it too. Yep. Just like I did. My family did.
Yeah.
You think we'd be a bit more cautious to say, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, yeah. I'm a politician, so I'm not going to suggest for you to do whatever you should do with your body.
Maybe you should get educated, do your own research, and do what's best for you.
That you'd think that'd be the reasonable response.
Well, and I think it's easy. I find this often, even with the issue of abortion, which we obviously talk about a lot. It's easy when you're saying all of these huge numbers for it to kind of become less of a reality. Like, to say that in Oklahoma 10,000 babies are murdered every year. Like, I say that so often that it doesn't really do anything to me anymore because the numbers are so big. And it's like with the COVID stuff, like the numbers are so big that we can't really comprehend what that means. Like, our brains cannot wrap themselves around thousands of people collapsing and dying. But it's like when you see videos like that, these are people's mothers and fathers and sisters and like actual people, and that's why we continue to talk about it so much. That's why we're not going to stop talking about it, because people are actually being affected. I mean, they're like the suicide rates and the depression and the anxiety that has skyrocketed in the past 2 years. Like, we're not doing this because it's the controversial thing to talk about and it's going to get us a lot of views. We're doing it because it's really, really wrong and really, really demonic. And we say all these huge numbers, but at the end of the day, it's the one person that it really matters.
Right.
It's really about the one person who was in your life that died, or your mom, or your friend. Like, it's not about the big numbers. It's about the one person that meant it to you.
That's right.
And I think it's just those videos I think are important, depressing, but important.
Yeah, I think I want to share another video, which is a little bit more encouraging this time. So Daniel said he wanted some good news before I went on. This is the appropriate response to what we should do in the face of tyranny. One of the appropriate things.
We serve.
Trespassing leave. Trespassing, please leave. I need you to listen to me. My name is Ray Vandenbush. I'm an acting senior sergeant with the Queensland Trespassing. I am not trespassing. I'm here to speak to the owner and the operator of the bar. He's not here. You people that are preventing me from entering the bar are obstructing police. Yes, well then please move aside. No, because I've got a sore foot. Okay, well please move aside. I've got a sore foot. Move. This is a you're not watching here. This is the common law. The people have spoken. This is also a political protest which is civilly and constitutionally protected. So your badge, your uniform, is gone.
Don't push him. Don't assault him. With honour, you serve. Prove it.
With honour, you serve.
With honour, you serve. Act in honour.
I can't It's a civil, and this is a public space, and it's operating under...
Don't you feel embarrassed doing this, mate? Seriously.
I wish you guys could come in and have a drink.
You're getting bacterial pneumonia wearing those masks, hypoxia, which is lack of oxygen, hypercarbia, hypercapnia, which is elevated CO2. You're giving yourself cancer. Your bosses don't care about you. You look like a fucking Smurf, Brett.
Oh, sorry, I didn't notice the bad language in there, but
Oh, that was awesome, though. I mean, the rest of it
before that
was awesome.
So
that's
you didn't watch
amazing.
that video all the way through.
I didn't watch that part of it. Hallelujah.
No, that's awesome. Well,
so
you're
sometimes
gonna get offended by a word.
Yeah, sometimes colorful language comes out of people's mouths, and that's today in society.
Well, here's the thing: that those people were being threatened. That's a pretty intense situation, honestly. Like.
Yep.
But that was awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
That is one of my favorite mob chants that I've ever heard.
Get out! Get out! I can't do it in the accent very well, but get out!
Get out!
Get out!
Oh man, that's awesome. That makes me so happy.
But that's really what you have to do. You have to band together. You have to coalition together.
Yep.
You have to surround those that they're trying to take out.
Yeah.
And we've got to be willing to do that.
Yep, pay the price, because I guarantee you that puts a mark on every single one of those heads for the government for a fine, something like that. But they're like, no, we're not going to take this anymore. So that was in Australia. Praise God. So
There's part of me that kind of wants to be in Australia right now.
Yeah, you'd get locked up.
Sounds really interesting.
You'd get locked up real quick.
I don't want to be there, but I kind of do. Like, I want to be with those people, man.
Yeah.
I'd go support those people.
What's that woman that got burned at the stake?
Joan of Arc.
She did some cool stuff. So I don't want to be burned at the stake,
for Jesus, Hannah.
but
yeah.
Also, if you're watching and you didn't know this, Hannah is single. She's available, and she's taking applications. If you don't live in your parents' basement and you have a job and you love Jesus,
I think eventually our viewers are going to get tired of hearing that.
I think eventually someone's going to be watching, and be like, they're like, oh, and they were like, that's my wife. And they're going to send a message in. Did you just...
I'm trying to get it close to your face. I'm sorry. You keep doing this and talking, and it's hard to hear you on the camera. I know. You got a good reminder.
If you know me, you know that I hate mics. But anyhow, not mics like M-I-K-E, but M-I-C.
Mike Sawyer, we love you.
We love you, Mike.
We love you, Mike Sawyer. But here's the deal. Lee is available as well. And I'm telling you, listen, one of these days someone's going to be watching, and they're going to be like, that's the one.
That's
and
the one.
I want to go to Australia too and burn at a stake for righteousness and justice.
If you were willing to go to Australia with me and like fight some commies,
give her a
you
call.
might
give her a call.
Maybe.
Yep.
Be able.
See,
maybe.
I told you.
Yep, we got a comment on here. Yes, find Hannah Silk Love.
Woo.
I got plenty of love in our life. I don't need no more love.
She got love. She just needs a man. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
The Bible said it was not
never got
good
married.
for them to be alone. What?
Joan of Arc never got married.
I bet she would have been glad if her husband would have been on a tree right beside her. Like, you got this, babe.
I don't know. That's the...
You got this.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be burning together. It's my favorite part.
Oh,
was it
man.
George Washington? You either all going to hang together or...
That was Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll either hang
you
separately or
what
we'll
I'm trying
hang
to
together.
say.
Yeah.
Y'all, it's harder if there's two of you.
Your avid knowledge of history is showing. So, guys, here's something else cool that happened this actually today. Old Boris Johnson, the Latin speaker, or Greek speaker, Goober himself. Here's what is happening in the UK.
We can return to Plan A in England and allow Plan B regulations to expire. As a result, from the start of Thursday next week, mandatory certification will end. Organisations can, of course, choose to use the NHS COVID pass voluntarily, but we will end the compulsory use of COVID status certification in England. From now on, the government is no longer asking people to work from home. And people should now speak to their employers about arrangements for returning to the office. And having looked at the data carefully, the Cabinet concluded that once regulations lapse, the government will no longer mandate the wearing of face masks anywhere. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, from tomorrow we will no longer require face masks in classrooms, and the Department for Education will shortly remove national guidance on their use in communal areas. In the country at large, we will continue to suggest the use of face coverings in enclosed or crowded spaces, particularly when you come into contact with people you don't normally meet. But we will trust the judgment of the British people.
What?
Never mind. I'm moving to Great Britain.
I told y'all I liked England.
No, you
now,
don't.
Wait a minute. The reason Boris is getting all free because he couldn't go to his party last week and had to apologize. Said, I'm sorry. I know we're supposed to be quarantining.
Yeah.
But I went to a party.
Takes.
Hey, if Boris needs to go to a party to get people free.
Let's not make repentance harder than it has to be.
Yeah, let's.
I'm just saying.
Say it again, girl.
Hey,
wait a minute. What did
we
Kylie?
We can trust, but don't forget. Trust, but don't forget.
Well, that's good. You should make a post, Kyle.
Yeah, trust but don't forget. I mean, can you forgive and not forget? Yes, you can forgive and not forget. Because if somebody robs you, you're probably not going to be like, hey, here's my wallet next time. Take care of it.
Right.
So in the same way, it's like we're going to trust
also
the British people.
Were we ever mandated to forgive government entities?
No.
Or just individuals?
Well, what about
I don't think we have to forgive the government.
Now, I think also in context, it says if your brother comes to you and asks for forgiveness,
that's an individual.
Right, but I'm just saying you gotta actually be wanting to forgive and do right to begin with.
They have to come to you, and then you be like, yeah. Also, as best as you can, live at peace with all men. Don't just live at peace. Period.
That's like trying to live at peace with a rattlesnake.
Oh, that's true.
If you can live at peace with the rattlesnake, some people can. But you might get bit, and then you might have to.
I was born in rattlesnake country.
That's your people.
I am the fastest rattlesnake handler in 3 counties.
What?
I'm just kidding. I've been hunting rattlesnakes since I was 2 years old in Okeen, Oklahoma.
2 years old.
2 years old.
Really?
I was on somebody's shoulder when they were catching rattlesnakes. I was on somebody's shoulder when they were catching.
Did you see your son when he was 2?
Yeah, catching rattlesnakes.
He might have caught a rattlesnake too.
Anyways, that helps me catch swamp creatures.
Why do we keep talking about animals?
What? What are you talking about?
You're not catching it if you're on someone's shoulder.
Of course, I wasn't actually grabbing the snake at 2 years old. That would be
that
crazy.
Means you wouldn't catch rattlesnakes.
I was part of the activity of catching rattlesnakes.
Get better. Try
it's
to keep
better.
it holy.
So, anyways, here's the thing: is don't mess with rattlesnakes unless you have proper training.
Moral of the story.
Moral of the story is don't catch rattlesnakes unless you have proper training. Hope this is fun for you guys as well. Christina D in Rumble says, "I love EKKOK."
Aww.
And Elaine says, "We will trust and not forget."
You
Amen.
got that right,
That's good.
Amen.
I like
Amen.
that.
Amen.
Now, wait,
What's
there was
Kelly
one over
saying
here
over
from I saw Kelly say
this is fantastic. The question is why now? We talked about that just a second ago. I popped that up on the screen, but why now is Boris Johnson actually enacting this?
Because he can't go to his parties.
He got called out for it. His what do you call it? His undersecretary for his office literally sent out a message inviting everybody to this big party when they had restrictions
Everybody
on.
needs to. Wait a minute, that's the
like-
wrong accent.
here's the
I
thing,
forgot how to do
that's
it. Anyhow,
Hey,
in an
so
English
British,
accent, you need to quarantine. Don't go anywhere. It's so dangerous. But all the politicians. You know what? Also about that video, I have never heard so much unity.
That's such an English thing to do, though. Like
no, but usually no.
It's so English though. Well, our parties though, like our big events, like they're so bougie. I don't know. I love it. I'm not mad about it.
But they sure do love their tyranny.
About it either.
They do love their tyranny.
But you know our
but they
politicians
clearly
are
love
doing
their
the same
parties
thing.
more.
What are our
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, because you remember last week you were showing who was it?
Who?
Who was it? Someone down in Florida taking vacations down there.
Oh yeah, AOC was taking vacations down there.
I think Chameleon Harris was there.
Chameleon Harris.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Camel Harris.
That's it, Camel.
Kamala Harris taking vacations down there. Everybody goes to Florida. Everybody goes to Florida. So
you'll get COVID and that non-mask wearing free.
Yeah, they all take ivermectin anyways, and at the U.S.
Whoa!
What?
Speaking of, the mayor of Washington D.C.
That's right.
The mayor of Washington D.C. mandated. Nope.
Yes, get closer. They can't. It's hard to hear you.
Not happening. The mayor of D.C., what did he do? He mandated mask or vaccine?
Vaccine passports.
Vaccine passports for the city of D.C., except the legislators.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Convenient. Yes,
So again, what is this? What is this? You're going to pass legislation for vaccine passports. Frank Lucas was in support of doing legislation that did vaccine passport tracking. Okay. It's got to go. Commie. Marxist. Not a Jesus lover.
But he's at least not a Democrat. sorry, that was a horrible representation of you. At least he's not a Democrat, Daniel.
No, I liked it.
At least he's not a Democrat.
That's what a lot of people say.
Yeah, at least he's not a Democrat.
Daniel, if you fight against one of the Republicans, you're liable to get a Democrat.
Yeah, that's the President Reagan's
What's the
11th
difference?
commandment. Thou shalt not strike against a fellow Republican.
You know what I think about Ronald Reagan and his 11th commandment?
I don't, Daniel.
I do not care. I do not care. That makes me so frustrated.
So here's something that's interesting. I want to throw something else out there that's interesting. It's happening in Louisiana. I don't want to hear what you guys.
Louisiana.
Well, Reagan's watching. You're gonna be talking about
Yeah,
Louisiana.
like, this is gonna be controversial, a little bit controversial. So I'm gonna pull it up and just share it, okay, guys? Yeah, it's gonna be controversial. But I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this.
37 seconds. Someone is arrested for possession of marijuana. Since 2010, state and local police have arrested an estimated 7.3 million Americans for violating marijuana laws, over half of all drug arrests. Black people are 4 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana laws than white people. States waste $3.7 billion enforcing marijuana laws every year. Most of the people police are arresting aren't dealers, but rather people with small amounts of pot, just like me. I'm Gary Chambers, and I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Did he say just like me?
Yep.
Elaine, what kind of people that run for Congress down there in Louisiana?
We know why you came to
In the
Oklahoma.
world, I've never seen a campaign commercial.
It was a well done video. I have to say.
Smoking.
I mean, it was a really high quality video, which is what threw me off at the end.
There's Tupac over there smoking blunts running for Congress. You kidding me?
I don't. I want to hear.
Man.
Yeah,
You want to hear
your perspective. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on that.
Hannah
Like,
thinks the HD quality was great.
it was a well done
honest.
video for sure. But he's sitting there smoking a massive blunt
I
of
was about
marijuana.
to say, when I was a
That's
kid and I remember
crazy.
watching TV and they showed people with weed, it was like this little rolled up piece of paper. Look, that thing looked like a cigar.
It did. That's why. Okay.
Is that
well,
why you were thrown off?
Yes.
Yeah, it was. No, that was a massive. Yeah, the weed. So he's talking about like, hey, I'm smoking weed. It's okay. And Kelly Gwynn said, at least he's being himself. That's true. He's being more genuine than 90% of
honest.
politicians.
Transparent.
Yeah.
Elaine says, "Puff D bet."
Yeah. Some people, I saw some conservatives saying
poor little
that
beast.
guy needs to be arrested. That's what they
I
were
was just-
saying.
it just-
You can come to Oklahoma and do that right now. I mean,
True.
I just don't see no one in Oklahoma and a throne in a field.
a throne in a
He
field.
was in a throne in a field promoting the Mary J.
So, guys, if you're a conservative and you're running for office and you're like, maybe I shouldn't do this video, maybe it's a little bit controversial, don't worry. It's not that controversial.
True. The standard has been raised.
The standard has been raised. So, anyways.
Wow.
So, some other interesting stuff. Let me say, Kelly Gwynn asked, what's your perspective on testing kits you can order through the government for COVID? Yay or nay? The panel says.
What's the question?
What do you think about the government testing kits? Now you can order free COVID testing kits through the U.S. government to your door, to the post office, to test if you have COVID or not.
I don't want to be a part of the statistics.
Yeah.
And why get tested for COVID? Do we get tested for a stomach virus or for the flu? No. You just have the flu and then you get over the flu and you're okay.
Yeah.
Like why do we have, I mean, I know a lot of like businesses required testing and like all this mess, but yeah, first of all, I don't want to be a part of the statistics. Like I don't want to put my name on that. You don't want to add to the numbers. And those tests, who knows if they're true? Like there's been so much mess about those tests being false and inaccurate.
I think it's just...
Rob Marsh talked about that in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Dr. Rob Marsh from Tulsa, and he's telling us there is no test that is a legitimate test for COVID-19 in America right now. He said, you can take these tests, you can line them up one after another. You're going to get a different response every time.
Yeah, if you listen to some of the big interviews going on with epidemiologists, cardiologists, one of the, what's his name, that doctor that was on Joe Rogan, not Malone, but the one beforehand I played, that guy, he talked about the false positives. And if you're not symptomatic and you test positive, it's more than likely a false positive. So the best teller of if you have COVID is your symptoms.
Right.
And not even that. I learned something from Dr. As I'll tell you this, Elaine said, where the kit's made? Probably China.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to test that. But one of the things Dr. Sherwood was telling me about, so, you know, they say how kids don't really get COVID because they don't have receptors.
Yeah.
Well, you can be I just thought this was amazing. Just blown
Yeah.
away by this. He said, you start a COVID kind of it develops right here in the back part of the mouth, and
Yep.
the nasal in the back part of the mouth, kind of at the roof of the mouth.
Yeah.
He said, and then people start getting like a little bit of a sore throat.
Right.
When you start to get that sore throat, your receptors there
Yeah.
are the reason it's hurting is because the body's sending a bunch of white blood cells to fight it off, whatever.
Right.
It's kind of like an army coming in, an invasion.
Yeah.
Your body has an immune system. It says, no, we're not going to do that.
Right.
He said, here's the crazy thing. You can feel symptoms
Right.
and still not be infected. You can be affected, but not infected.
Oh
with
yeah,
this
that's
virus.
true. That's why in what was that? What's that country? What country? Was it Bangladesh? I think it was Bangladesh where they actually they did this nationwide where they had people do iodine rinses, nasal rinses, and mouth rinses.
Yeah.
And almost annihilated completely COVID.
Yeah.
Because like you're saying, it affected you, but it didn't infect you. It actually is part of your system, but it has to go from there to the entire
Yeah,
body.
it has to get
because
in.
it is an aerosol. It's not something that's surface. So the whole hand sanitizer and gloves thing doesn't make any sense because it's an aerosol. It's transferred via that way. But even then, it's like, well, then the mask work. No, they don't.
Right.
There's so many ways. Yeah. So,
That's
anyways.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, so my vote would be a no-go on the test. Also, the government shouldn't be involved in medical stuff anyway, so just
comment
stay out of it. Stay in your lane.
Look at Dr. Daniel Nevejas. Great explanation.
Hey, look at you.
Yeah.
Well,
Amen.
You gonna take
I'm
you gonna
in
take a poll?
training.
You're in training?
I'm in training.
You gonna take a poll?
Just let me
Seems
give
like
this
it's time
for
a poll.
no credibility's sake. We Daniel Nevejas
just
is
like
not a
to learn.
doctor, and his opinions are strictly opinions, not direct medical advice from any medical professional, and
Yes.
blah 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 blah, all that,
I'm
etc.
just a good learner.
You are a good learner.
Mm-hmm.
That's great information. Okay, so talking about, I don't know why I have a picture up here, but talking about China, this is really interesting. So the author of the book, The Great Reset, Klaus Schwab, that guy, right?
Klaus?
Klaus.
That was Charles.
No, that's an investment company, Charles Schwab in America.
Not that good of a learner.
Klaus Schwab. I want to share this with you guys real quick so you can see it. This is the World Economic Forum, and look who this guy's introducing. I wonder who Klaus Schwab, the Great Reset, author of The Great Reset, is introducing.
At this pivotal moment, I see several priorities for the global agenda. We must continue to fight against the global pandemic. We must revitalize the global economy and accelerate its transition to net zero. We must preserve biodiversity by deploying nature-based solutions, and we must narrow the gap between the rich and the poor to achieve more sustainable global development. With these goals in mind, it is my distinct honor and great privilege to introduce His Excellency Xi Jinping, President of the People's Republic of China, to open the Davos agenda.
What?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
What did
No.
he say?
President Xi Jinping, the guy, the president of China, he's introducing him to the World Economic Forum. So I wonder where the Great Reset's coming from. Maybe our good friends in communist China. Anyways, I just thought that was an interesting video for you guys to see. If you ever think what we're doing is conspiracy theorist, the guy who authored The Great Reset, who is now multiple leaders in the EU, have been shown to have direct correlate or conversations with him supporting The Great Reset. It's not a joke. It's not just hearsay.
Nope.
Actually happening, and if it's taking place at the World Economic Forum, so doing it through economics. So
What does that mean? So I know a lot of people are watching. They've heard those terms.
What
World
terms?
Economic Forum, the Great Reset.
Yeah.
Maybe explain that for some of our listeners that may be a new concept.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna. The best way I know how to explain it, the Great Reset is the intent by the elite to make the world a one economy, one government system. And then in the name, it's bringing people closer to value from rich to poor, narrowing that gap, creating a net zero. So when there's all these agendas that are globalist agendas, but essentially it's a globalist agenda to completely reset everything, including with debt, finance, anything that you have.
Isn't that a good thing, though, Kyle?
The Great Reset? Yeah, that means
great. We have
yeah, no longer a meritocracy, but everything what the government gives you and determines your value is. Meritocracy.
Bring everybody in.
Meritocracy means you earn or you actually accelerate in position based on your merits, what you do. So meritocracy means I work, that's what a capitalist system is. I work well, that means I make more money or I get advancement, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to take that away by saying we will lessen the gap between rich or poor and even this thing that we'll have one global economy with a net zero. He's talking about carbon emissions, things like that. But that we would actually have a economy that, guess who controls? He controls. Sure. They control. And President Xi Jinping, the one who is actually leading a genocide of the Uyghurs, the people of northern China, I think they're northern China, but the people in China leading a genocide there, we should trust him. We should trust him in a global technocracy.
Did you say President Xi?
Xi Jinping. I think that's what you say. How you say his name, Jinping. So it's Xi, Z-X-I in Chinese. X-I. You've been studying Mandarin, so you tell us what it means.
Yeah. Ni hao.
Ni hao. What does that mean?
Thank
so
you.
so in that thing, which is really interesting. Here's another video for you guys. So the Uyghurs, who I just talked about, who China is Uyghur. It's a hard word to pronounce, so I'm doing my best. Uyghurs.
I just wonder what it was.
Yeah, so it's a group of people ethnicity in China that's been. If you watch anything on Twitter feeds, things like that, they have been in concentration camps. Their people have been forced labor, and this is one of the NBA owners talking about the Uyghurs. Now I want to share this with you guys really quickly.
Nobody cares about, nobody cares about what's happening to the Uyghurs, okay? You bring it up because you really care, and I think that's nice that you care. The rest of us don't care. I'm just telling you a very hard...
Wait, you're saying you personally don't care?
I'm telling you a very hard, ugly truth, okay? Of all the things that I care about, yes, it is below my line. Okay? Of all the things that I care about, it is below my line.
Disappointing.
Holy buckets.
I don't know why I'm surprised, but that's crazy.
Yeah. Usually they lie about it.
Yeah. That insane?
That's Hunger Games to the
It
team.
is?
I don't care about those people. It's below my line. Genocide of the entire ethnicity. Below my line.
It's literally, it's like the Hunger Games or like
That's what it
Brave
reminded
New
me
World.
of.
Like if you haven't read the Hunger Games or Brave New World or 1984, please do.
Creature on Jekyll Island.
Or Creature on Jekyll Island. That one's much longer.
It is much longer, but
also
very important to read.
More important. But it's crazy. Like
so the reason he's doing that is there's the old Thunder player Enes Kanter, who used to play for the Thunder. He is, I can't remember the nation he's from. One of you guys here could tell me right on here, and I'll put it out there what nation he's from. Excuse me. But he's been wearing shoes that have LeBron's face on them and him like bowing down to President Xi. And then, like, talking about the persecution of the Uyghurs. He said Uyghurs. I say Uyghurs. I don't know how you pronounce it. But their persecution. And there's videos. I'll pull up some videos next time for our live stream. But to show you the intensity of this oppression on these people. And he's been doing that. So that's what he's direct respondents to is Enes Kanter calling out LeBron James, being like, hey, how does it feel bowing to China and allowing these people to be persecuted? He's like, hey, it's below my
that's crazy.
level of things to care about.
And that's what like this whole like, oh, we want to narrow the gap between the rich and the poor. No, they don't.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They want everybody
They wanna
else
widen the
to be
gap
under
between
them.
Yeah. And it's not a sin to enjoy NBA games, but just know that if you support the Warriors, you're directly financially supporting that guy. That's who's making the money. So if you're buying their merchandise, you're doing things like that. Speaking of that, your favorite outdoor wear this week has come down with a great announcement. Carhartt is now saying they will not remove any vaccination mandates. They will keep them intact because it's for the health of our employees.
Man.
Now, here I want to get into this conversation because I posted that on my Facebook, and an interesting conversation ensued. It's their individual right as a business to do that. They can legally do it. They can legally actually mandate vaccines. What do you guys think?
Oh, you gonna let me loose on this one? Mm-hmm. No, that is not their legal right.
Ooh, fired.
Businesses the right of a business does not supersede the right of an individual. I don't think it should be I don't think businesses do not have the right to tell individuals that they can't carry firearms, for instance.
Yeah.
That is not your individual. That is not a business's right. That right does not supersede the right of an individual to protect their life. The right of a business to fire and hire who they choose does not supersede individual rights to their conscience and to their person. No. That isn't you. As a business, you do not have the right to do that.
Now, let me ask you this, because I'm going to be the devil's advocate on this side.
I agree.
You agree? Yeah, I'm going to be the devil's advocate. I mean, a different advocate on the opposite side. The opposite side of the debate. That's a better way to say it. But isn't that business, that individual's private property who owns that business?
Yes, but private property rights do not supersede the right of an individual's conscience.
No, agreed. But let me say in my home, can I make the rule that you cannot carry a gun on my home? Can I make that rule and enforce that? Yes, I can.
I think your home is different than a business, though, because you're now involving other people. A business is, yes, your property, but is it your home?
But see, that's the difference, is now we're having to nuance this thing a little bit.
Oh, it's true.
And so instead of saying, because if it's that individual's private business and they get to determine, see, my specific position is not, I agree with you and I hear what you're saying, that, because right now in this, why are people mandating the vaccine? Why are they doing it?
Because they've been weaponized by the leftist agenda.
It is an influence from the leftist agenda, from Marxism and socialism, to use business and fascism, to use the force of the government in a pseudo pressure to get them to do that.
Yeah.
So my big thing is I actually think, in part, that a private business owner can enforce or unenforce things like that. Like, that is his business. So let's say you, as a business, this is what a little bit gets into. Let's say you as a business wanted to only hire Christians, right? If we use the same logic and understanding, it is somebody's right to believe whatever they want, and you can't break their conscience. So you shouldn't be able to fire homosexuals that work for you then, right? It's the same line of reasoning. Does that make sense? Or debate with me. This is why we're having this conversation. I want to hear it.
No, that's interesting. I think, well, and here's the thing. I don't think that the government necessarily should get involved.
See?
Maybe not. I'm not actually sure.
Right.
Like, should the government take measures to protect individual rights against businesses? I don't know.
Right.
Now, I don't know. But I think that, because it shouldn't really even enter that realm. Really, Christians should just be quitting any and every business. I don't even care if you're Christian or not.
Right.
Anybody who believes in liberty should be quitting any and every business and just leave them stranded. They can go, like, if you're going to be that way, then, you made your bed, lay in it.
Yeah.
But it is an interesting, it's an interesting discussion. I don't know. I know that the right of the individual comes before the right of a business.
Yes.
But I don't know what that actually looks like.
Or that line, where is that line drawn with who you can hire and fire? And I think that's the thing is people are arguing about that, saying, well, they need to be consistent. And this is the caveat here. Why are they doing it?
Yeah.
They're not, the businesses aren't doing it because they might actually believe it, but they're doing it because of the oppression and the pressure. And so this is why in these conversations, as a conservative idealist, having the ability to have these conversations, if a company is doing that, they're doing it because the federal government and the CDC and all these wicked organizations are pressuring them to do that.
And it's not always just a negative pressure.
Right.
Many times it's financial.
Right.
So like the reality, you have the medical center in Stillwater literally put a letter. It's like, as you know, we receive most of our funding from the federal government, so we have to obey what they're doing.
Right.
I guarantee you, follow the money. If you went to Carhartt, you'll find out that they're receiving financial kickbacks or something from the government.
Right.
Coercion.
For sure.
You know, whatever you want to say, you know, this is what's happening.
Which is why the government shouldn't be involved in this sphere to begin with.
Right.
The government shouldn't, like, even take it down to, you shouldn't have to have a license and, like, pass all these tests to, like, go build a fence.
Right.
But you have to. In the state of Oklahoma, you have to have all these licenses to build a fence or to braid someone's hair. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yep.
The government should never have gotten involved in that sphere to begin with. But if you take it back to, like, the issue of, like, say you don't want to hire a homosexual or whatever, like that whole thing.
Right.
Joseph, my brother Joseph, when he was in the Senate, he tried to pass a bill protecting businesses from being sued if they didn't want to work with people who had, like, violated their conscience. So if you are a church or a wedding venue and you don't want to perform a wedding for a homosexual, you can't be sued for doing that because it's your, but that's your conscience. That doesn't really have anything to do with your business.
Yeah.
It's your conscience. But the thing is, the reason back, like 8-10 years ago, homosexuals were intentionally going to businesses who they knew would not want to work with them.
Right.
Because they wanted to sue them and get publicity and push an agenda.
Right.
And so it's hard to draw a really strict line because it's like it's not really, we're not operating in the realm of black and white, right and wrong.
Right.
Like super clear distinctives.
Yeah.
Which makes it really difficult.
Yeah. And that's the thing is this is a war.
Mm-hmm.
This is a war.
An ideological one.
An ideological war. So in that war, you're going to have different positions and people that actually use your ideology against you to try to push you and move you. And this is one of those examples. That's why I think it's ignorant and cowardice for Kevin Stitt to say, I believe in the rights of an individual business.
You know what Senator Warren Hamilton said the other day? If you believe in the rights of an individual business, then why do we have a committee that's all about businesses where we pass bills regarding businesses?
Yeah. That's it. I mean,
No, I said it's true.
Yeah, no. I think that's true. That's the but you have to have those conversations because then that's why the legislator, the governor, still should be saying this is illegal. What? Because why are people doing it? Yeah. And they don't have the choice. So you're right. Okay.
Wait a minute, I got a comment.
Okay.
Elaine B. 1984. Private business owners do not have the right to enforce mandate me as an employee to take something that is harmful to me or against my religious rights.
Exactly.
That's it. So yep, I agree 100%. They don't have the ability to enforce you and mandate you. The thing is so what would be the caveat on the other side of that argument? Mm-hmm. How would you argue the opposite side of that? Well, actually, we probably don't even go there. That'd be another long discussion.
Yeah, you see, that's the period right there.
That's the period. Hey, Leah, would you do me a favor and get me that Red Bull? That'd be great. Thank you so much. So last thing, one of the last things I want to show you guys, this is kind of a funny video, is so in the midst of this craziness inside, right now, there's an appointee that Nancy Pelosi's trying to make to to be over the Transportation Committee. Let me show you the lady one of the candidates to be over the Transportation Committee.
Eleanor Holmes Norton is struggling to park her car right now.
And she has hit that red car next to her repeatedly.
And we're taking pictures.
And we don't think they're going to do anything about it. And if she parks like that, she should not be a member of Congress anymore. Is she going to park like that?
It looks like it. Yep.
There you go, guys.
That's the person who's over education or transportation.
Yeah.
She can't park a car.
I know.
In that little bitty A-hoopty, she can't park a car. What in the haberdashery?
Isn't that hilarious?
That's pretty funny.
Well, anyways, guys, so I'm trying to think what we have. I think that's most of the comment. I have a few other things I could show about Dan Crenshaw, what he's done, but I don't know if you want to share that stuff tonight.
No, but we do need to talk about our sponsor.
Yeah, we do need to talk about our sponsor. That's right.
For sure.
Yep. Okay, let me pull it up. No, that's not it.
And while he's pulling that up, Daniel can talk about, we are looking at a new HQ for Ecclesia and all of our operations. And not only that, but to create a hub where other businesses, organizations, ministries can act. We can all kind of be in the same vicinity and just like serve each other. It kind of just creates a really cool hub and network. If you want to talk more about that.
Yeah, super excited about that. Matter of fact, I went and did another tour of the property again today. It's going to be a hub for not just Ecclesia of Oklahoma, but AFS. Mm-hmm. It will be a home for our new studios where we're just not the only ones doing live streams, but every single day there'll be different groups doing different live streams, whether that's Dan Fisher with Black Rope Regiment, Paul Blair, different people literally in the studio. Anyone who's watching saying, hey, I would love to have my own show, but I don't know how to run the technology, I don't know how to do that stuff, but I have valuable information I want to give to the body of Christ. They'll be able to just literally walk in and do their thing and share what they've got. So that's going to be super amazing, housing multiple ministries, after-school programs for kids. They're just super excited about that. And so we're looking for corporate sponsors. Our goal is to have 150 corporate sponsors, and what that means in the inside of the building, the names of those businesses are going to be on the inside. So every time we have an event, you'll be able to say, hey, This whole thing is made possible by weatherization experts, by Grider Electric,
And this
by
right now,
Flatline Pest Control, who's one of our newest sponsors. But your name, business as an individual business will be inside of this, but then also in anything that we print, any kind of print material, it'll have your name, business, website in there. On our app that's coming out, it'll be there. In the future, on the bottom of our live streams, it'll just scroll across the bottom. This has been made possible by, and not just to serve what we're doing, but literally serve the body of Christ, the Oklahoma City metro area. So super, super excited about that. But guys, our sponsor for the day, Flatline Pest Control. They do Edmond, Guthrie, and Enid is the area that they serve. They take care of termites. They take care of wasps. They take care of ants. Any kind of pest, they can take care of it. Super thankful for John Allen and his amazing Christian-owned business becoming a sponsor. So, yeah, if you guys need any kind of help from them, 405-466-8145. Let them know that you are connected with Ecclesia, Oklahoma.
You don't want no spiders in your bed.
Nope. No bed bugs.
No bed bugs.
No bed bugs. Well, guys, I have that the Dan Crenshaw stuff we can talk about, or we can call it.
You got Dan Crenshaw.
Well, here's this is gonna be one of the last things, and we'll shut it down for the evening because we know it's getting late. But I hope you guys are enjoying this live stream from the Ecclesia of Oklahoma. If you want to get our information from us, to receive our text this number at the top of the screen to get all of our notifications.
Nope.
Text join.
Nope.
Wrong.
What?
Wrong.
1981.
Nope. This right here.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
This right here is wrong. Watch the finger. No.
Okay.
Do not text this number.
1918.
It will do you no good.
See there, someone told me that they sent
1918 or 1981?
81.
1981.
Oh my! I didn't do
the
that.
year you were born.
1981.
I wasn't born in 81.
Ooh, 1981.
Oh my!
Come on, somebody.
Okay, so
we're bilingual in this place.
You are Mexican.
So here's a video which is interesting.
Don't be talking about that. My brother's been. He's like,
I'm sorry.
They keep talking about Mexicans on that live stream. I don't know about all that.
That's hilarious.
Sí, estoy mexicano también. Hola.
Yeah.
All I ever hear Daniel say in Spanish is "Cómo está? ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo se dice? ¿Cómo se dice? Water. ¿Cómo se dice?"
That is not me. I don't be saying "Cómo se dice."
Yeah, you do.
I just say, Kyle, how do you say that one thing? And then Kyle tells me.
Yeah, it's true.
And then I tell him what I want.
Thanks, Josh, for having her back, showing us the correct number. So this last video I want to talk about, we've talked about the craziness of, last week we showed that picture of who beats the S&P index.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Crenshaw was up there right above Nancy Pelosi. So this is more of Dan Crenshaw stuff. So he was in a town interview. So the video is a little bit sketchy, but I want you to just kind of see this. And an 11-year-old girl gets up to ask him a question, and he gets super defensive. Here it goes.
Whoa. Yeah! Who hasn't heard, Crenshaw said, quote, "The most important thing here is that we have important hero archetypes that we look up to. Jesus is a hero archetype, Superman is a hero archetype. Real characters too. I could name 1,000. Rosa Parks, Ronald Reagan," end quote. I can't wrap my head around this.
Well, I'll help you. Put a period after the word Jesus and don't question my faith.
Wow.
Okay, that's...
Wow. To a 10-year-old girl. Way to go, guy.
You moron. Look.
Yeah, you don't talk to a kid like that. Boo.
Don't question my faith.
Oh, okay.
You guys can ask questions about all of these things and I will answer them. But don't question my faith.
I can question your faith if this is what you said.
I mean, you can read the quote again. But nowhere in that quote am I saying Jesus is not real. That's a ridiculous statement. Of course he's the Son of God. Of course he's the Son of God, and of course he's real.
You can say two different things. You can say that on a podcast, and you can say this here.
On the podcast, nobody would have understood it that way. I think you're twisting it that way, which is not very Christian. Which is not very Christian.
Let's go, Brandon.
So you guys saw that video right there. Isn't that interesting?
What a troll, man.
Yeah, I mean it's a very pointed question.
What are you saying is the troll? Crenshaw?
No, Crenshaw.
I mean, here's the deal. That is here. I'm going to show you the clip real quick, though. That he did on the podcast. You guys ready? This is the clip.
I want to know what he said.
This is actually what he said on the podcast. And listen closely because he does something interesting here. I'll just play it.
So that's important. I mean, that's the important thing is that we have societal hero archetypes that we look up to. Jesus is a hero archetype. Superman is a hero archetype. Real characters too. We can name 1,000. Rosa Parks, Ronald Reagan. All of these people embody certain attributes that the American people think this is good.
Nope.
What are you saying nope to?
He's playing games.
Yes, he is.
You'll be roasted.
Well, here's the thing. He's like, don't question my faith. And then he was like, that's not very Christian of you to do. So you're going to say, don't question my faith, and then you're going to attack her faith. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the fact of the matter is you say that Jesus and Superman are historical archetypes, but then there are real people like Rosa Parks.
It was pretty clear. Like, pretty clear.
And so I have a funny picture I want to show you guys
my
on that.
gosh.
Let me see if I have it.
Man, I appreciate how, like, fired up those people got. They were like, hey, don't talk to a little girl like that. Like, that's crazy.
Keep talking as I try to pull this image up. Go ahead.
I just think that's ridiculous, and I think that he should be called out, and the politicians should be called out. It's just very ridiculous.
I mean, it's a hard question to field, but you have to keep the same demeanor, and this is part of it is because he's been.
It's not if you're not hiding anything.
That is true. That is true.
If you're not hiding anything, those questions are not difficult. So.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pull this thing up that somebody posted.
Oh gosh!
Do not question my faith. I'm gonna never do that.
Oh my gosh!
Isn't that awesome? So that's pretty hilarious. So I wanted to show that because I just think that's hilarious. But let me go to this. This is what part of the reason why Dan Crenshaw's been under such heat is. You know who Liz Cheney, the bane of the Republican Party right now in Arizona. I believe it's in Arizona. No, I don't know if she's in Arizona, but I don't know. But anyways, this is what he said last year. Let's get some truth on the record. Liz Cheney has a heck of a lot more backbone than most and is principled leader with fierce intellect. She'll continue to be a much-needed leader in the conference with my full support. We cannot disagree. We can disagree without tearing each other apart. He's been a Romney guy for a long time. Rhino. And he beats the S&P index with his investments. Sad because he's a direct rated war hero.
Yeah.
And want to get behind him.
Yeah.
Want to support him. But I want to pull up that picture one more time again.
Here's the thing, though.
Go ahead, Hannah.
That's good.
Go ahead, Hannah.
Don't you question my faith.
I think, though, it's easy. You can't just because he's a war hero or just because he's done things doesn't mean he's worthy of our trust or support. And I think we find that in local in Oklahoma. Well, this is a grassroots leader. This guy's done this. This guy's that.
He's a good guy. Now wait a minute. Isn't Biden a war hero? Or who was it?
No, Biden's not a war hero.
No, somebody was a war hero, and then because Trump said he got caught.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
You're talking about, you're talking about, what's his, McCain. John McCain. Yeah, he got caught. He was a POW. He actually was legitimately a POW in another war. What Donald Trump said was just, no.
That was funny. Not gonna lie.
It was funny, but it was like...
it was pretty rough.
It was pretty rough. Donald, you didn't serve in the military, and you're calling somebody that got caught because they got caught. Like, it's just...
And then he sold everybody out.
Dick Cheney did. Dick Cheney's a rhino for sure, or was a rhino. Sorry to say that. But, yeah, so anyways, Dan Crenshaw, sorry we have to do that to pull those up about Republicans, but you need to see that type of stuff to see how they're reacting.
They're the real threat. The Democrats aren't the real threat.
Yeah.
These people are the real threat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Controlled opposition.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, guys, that is all the content I have for you. Oh, no, I do have it. I do.
She said he is a Lizzie sitting in a tree. Is that a song?
A Lizzie?
I think so. Wait a minute.
Mrs. Crenshaw is a loser.
Someone said, wow, he's a Lizzie sitting in a tree.
That's funny.
And then she put music after it. Is that a song?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. That is way before our time.
Sitting in a tree.
So I have one.
Totally in Cajun.
Yeah, so I have one more video to show about what Hillary Clinton thinks about election fraud. Ready?
Oh my gosh.
Tax experts in Silicon Valley with whom I have met who say that maybe what they'll do this next time is to really disrupt the actual election, shut down the servers that you send results to, interfere with the operation of voting machines because still too many of them are linked to the internet. So we are still very vulnerable.
Oh, Lord, come quickly.
That happened before her 2016 race, so that's why she was saying it then.
What did I just see?
Isn't that funny?
Oh, my God.
There's like so many different directions I can go with that. I just don't know which one to choose.
Oh, my
Lord.
Your daily dose of Democrats don't care. They don't care what they say when they say it. They don't care how often they say it. They don't care if they lie. It's a lie, 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 lie. And that's not all Democrats. I think a lot of Democrats want to do the right thing. But Hillary Clinton, it's them voting machines. They can hack them. They can hack them.
Down in the Silicon Valley, they told me they could hack them. They said they can get in there and really
No. That is a conspiracy theory stuff.
Man,
You're a tinfoil hat wearing. Oh, speaking of Alex Jones.
Oh, my gosh.
Speaking of Alex Jones.
If it has anything to do with me, you better not.
No, it doesn't have anything to do with you.
Not everything's about you, Daniel.
Last week he said that I was the Oklahoma Alex Jones.
Here you go, guys.
I did say that.
To all those guys I have called crazy for questioning the 5G. Foreign airlines cancel and change flights to U.S. over 5G concerns.
What?
Yeah, many airlines now are canceling their flights because of the disruption with 5G messing with their avionics.
Pilots.
Lord.
Airline companies.
Pilots.
He was right again. Alex Jones was right again.
Alex Jones strikes again.
I'm just telling you. I watched a video of people in China.
Yeah.
And they flip on the 5G, and these people literally buzz out, and they're dead.
That's crazy. Yep. So, 5G. I'm not a big. Here's the deal, guys.
We know.
Yeah, you know me. I ask a lot of questions. Don't believe most things at the front, but I didn't believe 5G stuff for a long time. Because it's just one of those things.
You're a late bloomer.
I'm
okay.
a late bloomer.
You're a late bloomer, but
I'm glad
right.
when you say things about me that are bad, I'm okay. You don't put your face in the microphone, but you know.
Oh, I felt the nudge. Kyle's a late bloomer. He's not a believer. It takes him a little bit, but he usually comes along.
Yeah. Anyways, so
5G, bad.
Yeah.
Vaccine, bad. Graphene oxide, bad.
Yep.
Viral-based genetic therapy, bad. Adrenochrome, bad.
It's all that's bad. It's that was a funny
Dave
video.
Crenshaw.
It's Dan Crenshaw. Dan Crenshaw.
What did I say?
Dave.
Oh, his name's Dan, like Daniel?
Yeah, like Daniel.
Does he have another name?
No, Dan. It's his name.
Does he have a middle name?
Crenshaw.
Okay, Crenshaw bad.
That's not his middle name.
Oh, goodness, guys. Well, it's been a fun Ecclesia evening with you all. Live stream. We're getting tired because it's 10 o'clock. I'm getting tired anyways. Hope you guys are having a great night. We'll be jumping back on Saturday, but we'll be doing it with our event. We'll be live streaming our event from the Ecclesia. So
For His Glory is going to be live streaming
Yep.
across the nation. I mean, they reach millions of people, so this is going to be a really amazing event. Super excited about it. And we didn't give away any silver today because I think I'm going to give away some silver this weekend.
Silver this weekend?
Silver this weekend.
Oh, that's awesome.
Super excited about it.
Yeah, it's a free conference too. Come, invite your friends.
Yep. Register, makeoklahomafree.com.
Yep. That'd be awesome, guys.
Promo code EKKOK.
Yep.
The reason, just to let you know, it's free. On there, it'll ask you, it'll say that it costs $1. When we made it free, all these trolls came in and bought up almost all the tickets in 24 hours. Yeah. So we had to go all the way through and delete everybody that we thought was fake, which was a lot. And so... but what happens if you put the, like you're going to pay for it, then you put the promo code in there, it's 100% off, and so then it's free.
It doesn't charge you anything.
Doesn't charge you anything.
It's still free.
Yep. What else, guys?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Oh, good night. Love you guys too. She said devil bad. That's true. That's
Devil
true. Any more comments
bad.
in the... And the other side.
Thank you guys for joining us for this long of an interview. We want to do these things long format, so we're not rushed. We can discuss these things at length because the conversations that most people don't get to have because the news is cut short. So you can listen to this at your own pace. Love this format. Love doing these things with you guys.
Yeah.
It was a good time tonight. So God bless you guys. If you have anything, share this on your Facebook page. And good night.
Good night.